complete and utter rubbish, and the journalist was told so. I mean, the difficulty is
that... But you applauded the report, and he's quoted the report.
Look, I didn't applaud the report. That is complete and utter nonsense.
Oh, really, Shadow Foreign Secretary?
Thank you so much, Alex, for having me, and also to you and to Harry and to Mary and to David and others for the amount of work that's gone into producing this pamphlet. It just feels to me that this is exactly the right time. One of the things that I found really inspirational about this pamphlet is that I think it's based on the belief that I also share, that while we learn from the past, we must never be bound by it, and we need to build a foreign policy that is fit for the realities of this century and not the circumstances of the last.
This morning, the BBC's Andrew Marr took Labour's Shadow Foreign Secretary Lisa Nandy to task on the Mail on Sunday story that she praised a report which suggested replacing Britain's armed forces with a gender-balanced human security corps. The Shadow Foreign Secretary faced ridicule, naturally, after helping to launch the report by Open Labour Group, which said the main job of the forces should be to dampen down violence rather than intervene on one side or the other. Dampen down violence? What the sodden hell does that even mean? This is cartoon. They're the army. They're not there to be some bloody counsellor. Lisa Nandy said she was inspired by the pamphlet, which included the argument that the UK is no longer a great power. Well, folks, we've known that that's the Labour Party's position for generations now. The Mail on Sunday reports that Nandy told last month's launch that Rule Britannia, that anthem, that national anthem that they love to attack so much, I think that's given away to a nostalgia rooted in the history of the Second World War, Nandy says. That somehow says that we're a small island nation that goes out punching above its weight, without ever really stopping to ask why on earth it is that we're punching at all. Imagine, it's how many times have you heard that the Labour Party isn't a patriotic party, that it gives succour and support to Britain's enemies over defending our own place at home and around the world? That strikes me what's happening here. Many people around the world are actually proud and still value what the British flag represents around the globe. It would be nice actually if the Labour Party could actually even have one iota of the pride in our flag that many around the world do. The former Defence Minister in North Durham, my MP back home actually, Kevin Jones, Labour Party MP, he said that he said the report basically was naive rubbish, worthy of refined middle-class dinner parties, but which has no place in reality. Exactly, he's exactly right. His party is a shell of the former party of the likes of Peter Shaw and Barbara Castle. It's now the party of North London. It's now the party of Twitter. And those of us who have been following Labour over recent times aren't at all surprised. The Labour Party, as I say, has given succour and support to Britain's enemies under Jeremy Corbyn, and Lisa Nandy is a politician that said Labour will seek to emulate Biden and his woke agenda, getting herself in hot water already earlier last week over Winston Churchill after she accused Boris Johnson of stoking a culture war for criticising vandals who defaced Winston's statue in Parliament Square. Imagine that, folks, criticising criminals who vandalise the statue of our greatest ever wartime leader. How terrible, how awful of the Prime Minister, how mean Prime Minister. This is ridiculous. Lisa Nandy is a politician that has welcomed criminals who self-identify as women in female prisons.
Does a person who self-identifies as a woman have the right to be accommodated in a women's prison? And the answer to that is yes.
Lisa Nandy is a politician that has said her worst mistake in politics, imagine this folks, was given we plebs, many of us who once voted for Labour, the chance to decide Britain's membership of the European Union. Imagine your one biggest mistake in politics being to actually cherish democracy and giving the people a say. To think that during the leadership election in which Lisa Nandy was a contender against Sir Keir Starmer, who ultimately won the top job, Lisa Nandy styled herself as the working class salt of the earth lass who understood why the party lost so spectacularly in December of 2019, losing seats that had been Labour since their inception. If Lisa Nandy gets it, I'd hate to see what not getting it looks like. This is a politician who wants to replace the British Army with a new woke force, won't criticise vandals, welcomes Biden-style woke politics, would usher in men in female prisons, and reckons the biggest mistake she made in politics was allowing her thick one-time voters to vote for Brexit, to give us the opportunity to vote against them, our betters. Were I Boris Johnson watching this, I'd kick me slippers off on this Sunday, I'd pour myself a drink, and I'd recline into me armchair, because clearly, folks, I'm not leaving office at the hands of the Labour Party anytime soon with its out of touch, to the extreme approach to actually responding to the rejection at the ballot box, the wholesale rejection at the ballot box by the British people in December of 2019. I'm Darren Grimes for Reasoned UK. Reasoned relies upon grassroots donations from people like yourself that want us to continue producing our high quality, free thinking content. So please do consider clicking the link and donating, no matter how big, no matter how small, because it really does ensure that we can keep on keeping on.